Let me guess. Your wardrobe is packed with clothes that you've poured your heart and soul into making that you never actually reach for. You are obsessed with the beautiful fabric. Your sewing machine is humming along every weekend. You feel like you are spending hours and hours for the orphan pieces in your wardrobe that just don't seem to marry with anything else, or worse, you don't feel great in. They might be sewn to an amazing standard, but you are reaching for that occasion dress for the occasion to never come around. You are pulling out the blouse for it to just clash with every pair of trousers that you own. Let's be honest, it is frustrating and reality check, an expensive cycle to be in. If this sounds like you are not alone. In this video, I'm not only going to be jumping into the psychological reasons behind why, as creatives, this trips each and every one of us up, but I'm going to be giving you actionable steps to break free of this cycle and share the solutions that I teach my students so that you can get started building a dream wardrobe that you love and, most importantly, that you actually wear. Now, the heart of the issue is something I like to call the isolated garment cycle. Now, we've all got these types of garments in our wardrobe, and if you don't, you probably don't need to watch this video. But the isolated garment cycle are those pieces that you have spent hours perfecting the finish. The interior looks as beautiful as the exterior. That is a good sign of luxury fashion, my friend. And you have spent hours at the machine sewing up these beautiful fabrics. You are happy with the result, but you're still not reaching for it. This isolated garment has no friends to play with. You don't find yourself wearing it in your day-to-day life. It doesn't complement your lifestyle. The color might not even complement your skin tone. And for reasons you cannot put your finger on, it just doesn't seem to suit you. How do we get here? Because the problem is when your wardrobe is full of these isolated garments, that is when you feel like you have nothing to wear. And if you have just started the sewing journey, or if you cast your mind back as to why you started making your own clothes in the first place, yes, it could be fit. It could be there weren't things in the high street that complemented your style. But ultimately, you probably got to a point where you felt like you had nothing to wear. And therefore, you wanted to take everything into your own hands, sew your own wardrobe so that you did have stuff to wear. So how are we here? How did we arrive at this destination? Well, for most of us, it usually goes something like this. We see a flash of inspiration. This could be a stunning dress on Pinterest. It could be a new pattern from our favorite indie brand, or a bolt of fabric that just screams your name. We get that rush of excitement. We buy the pattern, we buy the fabric, we fire up the sewing machine, and we make something beautiful. And then we hang it in the wardrobe and just hope it will magically fit into our daily life. The process is inspiration, fabric, sewing, and a whole lot of hoping. But, my friend, hope is not a wardrobe strategy. It's like decorating your house, and you buy a multitude of expensive, pretty things without considering the room that they're going to go in, the paint that's already on the walls, or the furniture that you already have. And so what happens is you end up with a collection of, yes, beautiful, yes, stunning, yes, expensive things that are just chaotic. They're messy. They don't go together. And this is exactly what is happening inside your wardrobe. This leads to some painful results. First, a wardrobe full of clashing colours and prints. Second, garments that are totally wrong for our actual real lives. That sequin gown is a showstopper, but if your life is mostly office work, school runs, and weekend errands, it's just going to become a very pretty dust collector. But the worst part is that sinking feeling of standing in front of a full wardrobe, convinced you have absolutely nothing to wear. It's a special kind of sewing burnout that makes you feel like all your time, effort, and money just went down the drain. But here's what I really need you to hear. This is not a failure of your sewing skills. You didn't pick the wrong pattern or fabric. It is simply a failure of strategy. And it's an easy trap to fall into because as creative people, we are driven by that spark of inspiration, that shiny object syndrome, the things that make us feel. We love to make things. We've just been missing out on one crucial step that needs to happen before all the fun begins. And so the number one mistake that ruins handmade wardrobes, it's not you, it's not your skills, it is a lack of cohesion. And when you sew without a plan, this is what results in garments that are isolated in your wardrobe, garments that are beautiful but have no place in your lifestyle, colors that don't suit the rest of your closet or your skin tone and complexion and you as an individual, and ultimately that I have nothing to wear feeling. And so, what is the solution? Let's walk through it. And first things first, it starts before you even touch a sewing pattern. Step one is to plan with intention. This is the step we skip when we get swept up in excitement. So before you even think about cutting into that fabric or purchasing that textile, you, my friend, need to play detective. Ask the tough questions. How is this new piece going to fit in with the clothes that I already have? Pull out a few of your favorite garments. Will this new blouse work with at least 3 of your existing trousers or skirts? Does the color of this design fit your general color scheme, or is it going to be a total outlier? And most importantly, be brutally honest about your lifestyle. Do you have a real world reason to wear this, or are you sewing for a fantasy version of yourself? Planning with intention means every single project starts with a clear purpose and a designated spot in your wardrobe. Now, step 2, my friend, is to design in capsules. And before you click off this video thinking that I'm going to make you do a 12-piece wardrobe that is transitional and interchangeable, that isn't what I mean by capsules, okay? I actually think this goes against quite a lot of what we stand for as creatives and designers. I don't think there is an issue with having an extensive wardrobe of clothes if that is a passion of yours, if it sparks joy, and if you wear them, okay? What I mean by designing in capsules isn't throwing everything into a bag of beige and potentially a stripe and neutral, timeless colors. I just mean designing in smaller collections of cohesion. And this is exactly what we cover inside the 3-day design challenge. So not only do my students unleash their creativity, but the 3-day design challenge teaches them how to tap into a style that is authentically you. It's not about relying on existing indie patterns and ideas that have been made by somebody else. It's about coming up with original concepts that ultimately are cohesive and giving yourself the skills to play around with this creative liberation. Think of it like creating a small powerhouse group of garments, maybe 3 to 5, that can be mixed and matched. They are cohesive in color, they complement your lifestyle, and they give you that freedom of expression to enjoy your wardrobe. So for example, instead of sewing a random blazer in a beautiful fabric because you saw it and it inspired you, you are going to learn how to plan a mini capsule around a vision that is entirely your own. You might still design that blazer, but you're also going to design 2 pairs of trousers, a skirt, a blouse that all complement each other and align to a similar aesthetic thread. All of a sudden, you haven't just added 4 pieces to your wardrobe, you've added a combination and potential of multiple outfit choices that inspire you, that align to who you are, they light up your style, they're fun colors, they do not have to be boring, and they really speak to who you are and who you want to present yourself as through your creative practice of sewing. This is the fastest way to build a wardrobe that works because it multiplies your style options whilst staying true to your voice as a designer. Finally, my friend, step 3 is to curate, not accumulate. I actually think we should get this printed onto t-shirts because every item in your wardrobe needs to earn its place. You should be able to look at your closet and see your favorite pieces, your favorite colors, things that you cannot wait to wear. And this is absolutely, before we get ahead of ourselves, a habit that is built up over a lifetime and one that really instills longevity into your wardrobe. Every item you introduce needs to fill a gap, have a genuine purpose for being there, and enhance the pieces you already own, making them even better. And this habit pulls you away from a place of consumption. I really think as makers, there is a confusion between the fact we are creating doesn't mean we are consuming just as much, but we really, really can fall into that trap if we're not creating with intention. And so this is going to bring you back to a relationship with your clothing that is so much more sustainable and so much more satisfying. My friend, it's about choosing quality and cohesion over quantity. It's about saying no to some projects so that you can reserve the huge fat chance to say yes to those that are really going to serve you and your wardrobe. And so, with that framework firmly under your belt, I want you to consider the solution, which, bear with me on this, is strategic sketching. Now, sketching changes everything. This isn't about having artistic skill. The most successful wardrobes I see start with sketches, not because you need to be an artist, but because sketching forces you to think strategically. When you sketch your ideas first, you can see how pieces work together before you cut your fabric. You can plan color combinations that actually make sense, and you can design for real body and lifestyle, avoiding costly mistakes and unworn garments. I've watched this transformation happen over and over again. Students who felt stuck with random sewing suddenly create cohesive wardrobes that they absolutely love. And it all starts with putting pencil to paper. When you fix this mistake, when you fix the lack of cohesion, everything changes. Instead of a wardrobe full of beautiful but unworn pieces, you've got clothes that work together effortlessly. You have pieces that you reach for again and again. You have confidence in every sewing project, and you have a wardrobe that truly reflects your style. And the best part, you can see results incredibly quickly. I've seen students transform their entire approach to wardrobe planning in just 3 days when they commit to the sketching process. Listen, I know that going from a sew whatever I feel like habit and shifting to a more intentional mindset uses a completely different creative muscle. I get it. And for some of us, that is a really intimidating change, but that is exactly why I created the 3-day design challenge. It's a guided 3-day experience that really helps you overcome perfectionism. It helps you answer a creative brief and get outside of your head. Even the most beginner person can do it. We are going to draw inspiration from the world around us. You do not need artistic skill at all. And ultimately, my friend, I am going to teach you how to build cohesion into your ideas. So whether you take that forward into a more advanced process of creating what you've made from scratch, or whether you just take the skills that you learn into a more applicable process for a home sewist through color choices and selecting fabrics that work together, you are going to leave the 3-day design challenge inspired. You're going to leave it with new skills, and you are ultimately going to leave it with a new appreciation for your wardrobe. We are going to be using strategic thinking and really, really basic mark making on a page for you to start exploring the skill of cohesion with your clothing. So please stop sewing clothes that you never wear, and please start designing a life and wardrobe that you are in love with. I am so nosy and keen to know what the biggest isolated garment hanging inside your closet is right now. Please let me know in the comments. I'm going to link a few useful resources down below, so be sure to check those out. And for now, my friend, stay safe, keep creative, and I will catch you on the flip side.